So hey guys, good evening to all of you. So let me open the YouTube chat in just a second.
This is how last YouTube is with Grave. Notice.
So got an ad that plays. Neeraj, good evening. Rakesh, namaste Rakesh. Yes. So let me share my screen, desktop too, and share it. Good evening, Chant. Yup, please. Kalwan Avayat. Sivi Raj. Hi, Sivi. Okay, so hi to all of you. So 1 second. So, yes. Yes, today's session will be a little shorter. Then, of course, I'll make a bigger session next day. The only reason is like I am on a like what is it? Festival was there now, so in that there were some things. Okay. Anyway, so without wasting time, let's get started and let's focus on the content. So 1 second. Where is my VS Code? I'm not finding it. Yeah, I found it finally. So let the VS Code open. It is finally opened. This is one of my previous codes. For some other things, let me close this to open a new one. And now we were working in this particular project, right? I'm into YouTube, React, and let's pull it. So let's complete the, like we did an easy part of a hello world that was not even understandable by most of us, right? Because at this point, we don't understand what is the meaning of each and every file that is present here, right? It's quite obvious as of now. Okay. Okay, so step number 1, what I'll do, I'll start the React application, of course. So npm start. The React application will get started. Of course, it will take a minute, no problem. Let it take. How to become pro like you, sir? See, it was not like that. I started teaching from a very early phase of my life, like from the 4th year. I literally like teaching. So when you start teaching someone, I think your concept, like you learn much more. Okay, that way I can guide you one way. Okay, and there are a lot of teaching opportunities, so you can. Okay, let it open. I hope it opens today faster. Okay, 1 second. New window. Localhost 3000. Okay. It will take a minute. Today, like, let's ignore all the questions. Let's focus since I'm reducing the session. So like by some time. Okay. So let's focus just on the content part. Okay. So there are a lot of things here. Okay. Okay. So finally it got started very fast. So now let me. Shubham, you did not get the Zoom link? 1 second. 1 second, Shubham. Give me a minute. Sorry for that. I thought. Oh, 1 second. Well, give me a second, just. Good evening, Mahesh. I think you'll get it immediately within 5 minutes. Okay, don't worry about that. I have messaged the team. Okay, I think sometime I think it was not like automatic. That was the major problem. Okay, manual processes sometimes takes a little time. Okay. So now let's come to these files. Okay, so we'll get started with. We'll ignore the readme, but if you want to know it's related to GitHub, okay, let's ignore this file. This is not a part of your project, so ignore it for now. In case if you know GitHub, I think you already know this file. Next file is like package.json. What is the purpose of package.json? Package.json, you can consider it like the settings file of your project. It has name, version, lot of dependencies and other things. There are a number of things that are present here. Okay. What are those, like browserless production? What do I mean by development? We'll of course have a understanding slowly. But at this point, you can just take it like the settings file. Package log.json is a file which helps you to maintain versions of each and everything. Like this file becomes useful. Like let's suppose a lot of members are working on the same project. So now what you will be doing? You will be transferring this to like a lot of things, like whatever the code that you have written, you will push to GitHub. Someone else will download it, right? A lot of these things will be happening. Oh no, bro. I thought what other thing. Okay. Hey Shubham, I think you have got the mail. Check your mail. Okay. Okay. I think you already got it earlier. Just check it once. Okay. Okay. So now package.log.json helps you to maintain the version number. Like if there are different developers working on the same project and you are constantly transferring code between each other, okay, maintaining a version becomes a very difficult choice. Okay. And that is done by package.log.json. Git ignore, again, a part of Git. The things that you have written here should not be pushed to Git when you are pushing this code. Okay. So anyway, currently I'm not discussing Git. Okay. Now there is a lot of files which is present under source, number of files. Okay. And then there is a folder called public folder. And then there is a folder called node modules. So we'll talk about these two in very detail. So let's first discuss about node modules. What is this node modules folder all about? Like if you see in package.json, you can see something that is written dependencies. Now you will say, what is this dependencies all about? So let's take a simple example. Let's suppose you guys are building your own website. Now suddenly you realize, okay, for the interacting with customer, I need a chat application. So you say, okay. So, but now the problem is you don't have a sufficient team to make a chat application, or you are too occupied with other things. So what would you do? You will buy a chat application from some other companies that provide the chat application, and you can directly use in your website or app, right? Quite a simple approach you will do it. And that's a very reasonable choice also, because why to waste so much engineering hours on something which you can get it for quite cheap, right? If you don't need a lot of customization. So this is something that you are using in your applications. Remember this. So this is someone else's product you are using in your application. So what does that mean? That means you are not the person who is controlling that product. You are just using it. So that becomes something like a dependencies. That means the thing that is not exactly owned by you, or the code that is not exactly owned by you, but you are still using it. Like the things that are written in dependencies. These things are like this project is basically using these things. You have installed these things, okay, and using it. So now you'll say, I never installed these things. So basically, when the React application got created, by default, it installed these all things, okay. So since these things are basically installed, like this is related to testing, this is React, React DOM, React Script, and Web Vitals. All those things are installed, and this code is written by someone else, okay. And since this is present here, okay, so what basically happened that you want to use this particular code which is written by someone else. So we have put it under dependencies. Now see, if you're downloading something like you have downloaded React or React DOM inside this project, okay, so of course, why have you downloaded it? You have downloaded it so that, one second. Shubham, I think check your spam also in case sometime it may be there. A team had responded to me that they have sent a mail. Okay. Check it. Okay. Okay. So now what was I talking about? Yeah. So these things are dependent. So whenever you are installing something like React, React DOM, I'll even show you how to install them slowly. But now let's suppose this is already installed. So when these things are installed, why do you install it? You basically install it so that it has a lot of code base, right? You want to use that code throughout the project. Okay. So where is the code present of these things? So these codes are present in the node modules folder. The more thing you install, the heavier will be your node modules folder. Okay. Now coming to public. So in public, basically you have just one file, which is index.html, and then you have number of files like robot.txt, manifest.json. We'll talk about these files slowly. Okay. So now when it comes to index.html, you can see it's a normal index.html file, title, body, and an empty div with an ID root. What is the purpose of this div? The purpose of this div is very simple. Whenever you write a JavaScript code that is basically not visible on the screen, right? What is basically done? What basically happens? So all the code that you write, basically you technically write it on an HTML element, right? And that HTML element is like the backbone, which is basically shown on the screen, right? So whatever code that you write here, so whatever code we'll be writing, 95% of the time will be working inside the source folder. So whatever code that you are writing, you will finally transfer this code inside these div. How? You know how you can transfer a code from JavaScript to div, document.get element by ID. We know it from the JavaScript, right? Okay, so all the code will basically come here and get rendered on the screen. In simple word, get displayed on the screen. But this page has a lot of weird things that you can see. Oh my God, this weird URL. So it's a different style of writing it, which we'll talk about. Okay, so currently we're just getting started. I'm just giving you an introduction to the particular files. Okay. And these are some of the necessary things that is required for this index.html. This is what your public file is all about. And now comes the important file, the source file. And this file is the file that is like where you'll be working 95% of the time. So you need to know each of the file in very detail. And how can we do it? To be honest, at this point, it's very difficult to understand each and every file. Okay. So what is an easy way to do it? What I do, I delete all these files. And we will create this file one by one and try to understand what is the importance of that file. Okay. And if we see, okay, if I'm creating index.css or index.js, is it necessary to create it? And all of these things we'll discuss step by step. Okay. So this is there, 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 and this is there. So everything is deleted inside the source. Awesome. Okay. So now if you see, we have an error. And what is the error? Compile with problems, error in source, app.js, so on, so on. I'll say, okay, this is okay. I'll even say, whenever you're working with any front-end things which involve JavaScript, okay, make sure, okay, this is like what is it? Safari, no? Okay, so basically, I think I have to I can show you in Safari, but most of you would be using Chrome. So let me open that one. So let the Chrome get popped up. Yes, awesome. Hmm? Hmm. Let me copy it here. Now let me just close it. Hmm. We'll open host 3000. Let's see. So now let it load first. No, 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 it's taking too much time. Any issues? I think basically it's an error, so it's not loading. Anyway, no problem. But it should load the error on system. But anyway, it's taking time, let it take time. So basically you have some error like these files, it is looking for those files, but these files are not being found. So I want to show you the exact error, which is the most important file, but this is still not loading. Let it load. Finally. So whenever you are working with a front-end application, especially which involves JavaScript, make sure your inspect is always open. It's quite necessary. Even there is no error on the screen, but you can even then also see some error on the console. Okay, in case if you have never seen this, so this is by default something like this. When you open it, it will be right like so. You need to just right click on it, go to inspect, last option. What happened? Nothing. So something like this, and then here it will open, go to console. In case if this is not visible due to small screen, you can click on this arrow and things will be visible. You can always rotate it around the screen, this for down. And I like it to be on the left side, especially with the JavaScript part. With HTML and CSS, I like at the bottom, but that's totally your choice. Okay, now if you see the console part, there is a lot of errors here, right? Uncaught error, cannot find the module app.css, and so many. There are a lot of errors, right? What the error? Why did the error went away from here? Okay. So now you can see the error is here. Okay, so this is it. So you'll get some error, even though sometimes here there is no error, but you will still get an error. We'll see this. So now, which is the most important file here? If I create, the error should be gone. So by default, whenever you create a React application, index.js file is the most important file. I'll show you the reason. Like inside the source, I'm creating a new file, which is index.js. As simple as that. I've just created one file. I have not written anything inside this file. Let it compile. Yeah. Okay, by the way, till it is compiling, just a quick poll. How many of you think that Russia can start a nuclear war? Okay. Yes, it's done. So basically now we see there is a white screen with no error and even no error on the console. You'll see something is written. Yes, something is written. Until it is written is a red color, you don't have to worry much. Okay, these things are like normal, no worries. Okay. Yeah, things may be in red normal that you don't have to worry at all. If it is in red color, you have to immediately take action or worry again. If it is in yellow color, there are a lot of times you cannot do anything about it. Okay. I don't want to appear in my final semester offline. Right. So basically, how many subjects do you guys have in final semester? As of for me, there was only one, like what do you say? That we have a final project. No? That was there, nothing else for me in SRM. So do you guys have many subjects in your five subjects? Oh my god. That's yes, quite boring. And offline is like 5 plus final project. Oh my god. Offline is a very big challenge. Like literally, there are like months I don't get out of my house. Ethical hacking into one of cloud computing. Okay. Okay. First semester, second semester starts third month. Oh, great. Cloud computing, data science I never studied, but cloud computing and cyber forensics, I guess. Cloud computing I studied, but they are subject that needs you to learn a lot of things, like mug up a lot of things, even with cyber forensics also. Okay, we want Bitcoin back to 25K. So if you're hoping only, hope it to like 2.5K, there's hardly any chance for Bitcoin to go there. Anyway, let's remove all those things. Digital image processing, one of the most hated topic that I. Anyway, let's come back to our topic, and so it'll be last. Okay. So now I have created one file which is index.js, and our error has sorted out, which shows that this is a very important file. That means by default, when you run on the index application, this is a file which is searched by your React thing, so that things can be rendered on the screen. Okay. Okay, so what is the basic package of MERN? See, this is a very like what do you say? Not a standard question. It cannot be answered. Different companies can follow different approaches. Okay, that's the thing. Can we change it? Like I am not the authority, right? And so that I can inform you, right? But if you can, you should. I also want to. Okay, let's come back. Let's forget about Russia, Ukraine, and everything. Okay. So step number one, the first thing that I'm going to do it is like using number of things that I have installed in package.json. Oh, you mean that? Oh, sorry. Okay. I mean, can we change it searching for index to? Yeah, you can definitely do that. Well, we can do that. You can do a lot of customization. All those things are there possible. Okay. Okay. So, your package.json is quite powerful. We'll talk about that slowly. Okay, let's not go to that thing directly. Let's first focus on the concept part. Then we can do it. Those are a small customization. We will see that. Okay. So step number one, we have installed a number of things. Like when the project got started, there are a number of things that got installed. In this particular index.js file, I'll be using these two things, React and React DOM. Okay, so how does you basically import these things? The idea is very simple. Okay, see, we import it like this. Import React from React. I'll explain your syntax. The second thing is import. This is React DOM now. So import React DOM from React DOM. I will say, what is this? I don't understand it. So see, the idea is quite simple. The second thing that you are writing, React and React DOM, this is basically whatever is written in package.json. Whatever name that you have, what is the name of these packages, React and React DOM. So this is the thing. And what is this? Just you can imagine it like there are a number of possibilities here, but you can think it like a component inside there. So you are using that component. Okay. From this, or just imagine it like this. Okay, you have a particular file. From that file, okay, there are a number of things in this particular file. There is a file in which there are a number of things. Okay. Now React does not want you to use all the things. It just want you to use this particular thing. Okay, because everything is very much of React. So whatever things you want, just write the name. Okay. This part you will much understand much nicer when we create number of files. As of now, we import the things like this. What is the purpose of both the things? Of course, like it's a React application, everything will be everything for every component and all that will need React. React DOM is basically used for rendering the things. from here to the public.html. Let's have a look. Like, let's see. Now what I'll do, I'll create a component. So let me give it a name. So how to create a component? So I'm just creating something like a function, which you guys already know. Okay, so remember I'm mentioning it with small letters. Okay, whatever name you want to give, I'll give it a name hello. Okay. As simple as that. In it hello. Okay, now we have a return. So now, what is the main purpose of creating a component here? Okay, the main purpose of creating a component here is component should contribute something to our UI, right? Like it helps us to build our UI. UI means something on the screen. So what I'll do here, I'll pass something called h1. Sorry, I was using a shortcut. It did not work out. So I'm writing hello. As simple as that. So now we can assume this like a function, right? I'll say, okay, let's assume, not a problem. So basically now you can see whatever it is, but it's a piece of JavaScript code. It cannot do anything on its own. Now, okay, so basically you need to render it to, like what is it? To this particular folder, index.html, right? So how to render it? So React DOM will basically help you to render. React dot render. How do you render the things basically? So rendering the things, you just write the name of it. Of course, we'll change things here. There is some error here. Yep, I'll talk about that. Just give me a minute. We'll encounter a few errors and then we'll correct it and talk about it. Okay. So this thing, I have written it here. This looks like a function. So just I have written it the name and then I will access that thing. So how do you access something in the HTML file? Document.getElementById, right? What is the name? What is the root here? Root is the ID that we have given to this particular thing. Root, right? Even you can change it, but this is the default one. Okay, so now it should appear like hello world should appear on the screen, but unfortunately it will not appear, and you will even get a message like functions are not valid as a React child. What does that mean? That basically means now there are two things that you need to understand. Okay, you will say this looks like a function. I'll also say this looks like a function, but function cannot return something like this. Have you ever seen a function something returning like this? No, right? Okay, so see a basic like syntactical difference that we follow between a function and a component. All the function in React start with a small letter and in any place. Okay, and if it's a component, it should start with a capital letters. Okay, this was not a component. This is this was not a function. This is a component. Remember it. All components should start with a capital letters. If you start with small letters, you will get some annoying things in the terminal. Okay. Now here we are. Hello world. Awesome. Now we should get something, but still we are getting error, and the error is hello is not defined. There is some error thing here. How do I know that the error is here? When you are writing hello is not defined, it has given a line. No? Line number 10 and column number 17. So this is line number 10 and column number 17. Here. So the error is basically now since this is not a function, you cannot use it like that. It is a component. And component, we use it like tag, like the HTML tag that you use now. We use it like that. So either see, you can use it like this. Hello. Okay, like this. Or you can use it like this, self-closing tag. Totally up to you. I generally like the second syntax because it's smaller, but you are free to use anyway. Okay. Perfect. So now we have done it. So now if we see on the screen, so let me reload it. And we have a black hello world here. Black and white looks perfect. Okay, but of course this is quite simple. We have to go much far from here, right? Okay. So now there are a few shocking things that you may not know. Okay. What if I say, so this was already a little controversial, like this is a function, but I told you this is not a function, this is a component. Okay, so the basic difference between function and component is component contributes to UI, like whatever you write here, like it will contribute to the UI of your page in simple words. Okay, so you will say, okay, this HTML, which HTML? There is no HTML here in this page. And you heard it right. Basically, this is not an HTML element. This is JSX. I'll say, where does the JSX come? So basically, what happened now? Like, since I'm using HTML here, so HTML need to be a little modified to be perfectly used here. Okay, and you can say, so JSX is just a modified version of HTML. Some things here and there has been a little change. As we do more and more things, you will see those changes. You don't need to study a separate course on JSX. Not at all recommended. Okay. So JSX is very much like HTML with few changes here and there. Okay. Okay, awesome. So now we had, this is a great thing. We have done it. So this is JSX and this is the component. Awesome. Coming to our next thing. Okay, so now those who are of JavaScript may know this, but those who don't know JavaScript to a lot extent, just hear me out, you'll understand it. So this function syntax looks quite good, right? But unfortunately, we don't use this syntax of function a lot, okay? Then how do we use it? So how do we change to other syntax? That other syntax is basically called arrow function. They have some minute level of differences, which we'll not talk about as of now. Okay, basically it will not disturb you or haunt you as of now throughout this project. Okay, so how to but convert a normal function to a like what is it, arrow function? Just remove this word function. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, after the word hello, put a equals to. Then after this bracket, put a arrow symbol. That's all. Okay, and then you have to declare it like letter const. Okay, to declare it. This is like you declare things like if you are from C++ background, you declare things like int, long, double, right? So here we generally declare the things like let. Okay, and const is basically for constant objects, right? So I guess this part is clear, right? Any issues till this point to any of you? Do let me know. No, right? Awesome. A quick thing, I have a question to all of you. Let me put one more thing here. Let me put a para here. I am supporting you. I got an error. Why do you guys think that I received an error? Any idea? Come on, guys, do let me know. Only single element is allowed in the component. Okay. We need to cover in one tag. Awesome. Fragment, single element. Okay, so all of you are technically correct. Okay, so basically in simple words, okay, you can put empty fragment before button. Awesome. So in simple words, guys, this is a return statement. So it can only return one statement at a time. Since I'm trying to return multiple statements, it is giving me an error. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, so what I'll do, there are a number of things that I can use here, but the things that you already know is a div. So let's use a div as of now. Okay, and then other things we'll bring slowly. And let's put it here. Awesome. Awesome. We cannot return two statements. Yes, yes. Awesome. Awesome, guys. Awesome, sir. So we are here. Okay. So now let me quickly create a few more things. Button. Okay. For some reason, a shortcut does not work here. And I hate that part. Button. Let's keep a button name as Apple. Let me copy this and create a few buttons. Apple, orange, and what is the name? Okay, some name, random name, fruit names. Okay. Okay, so we are here. Finally, we are here. This page is okay. Now you will say, okay, there is a blue area. Should we do something? technically many a time, to this yellow error, you cannot do a lot of things. As of now, ignore it. We'll just be concerned about the red errors. Okay, so now, okay, so like I'll push it a little. This is okay. This looks a little good. Awesome. Now it's looking a little better. Okay. Is there a way so that we can return multiple statements? Yes, yes. I have. So you can put a div now, and you can return multiple things here. Like, see, if you have to return 10 variables from a function, you cannot return 10 variables, but you can put those variables inside an array or inside a string and then return it, right? So yes, you can use such hacks. So we are here. Now this page is okay, but what about the CSS? How to use the CSS here? So let's see both the type of CSS, how to use inline CSS and how to use external CSS here. So what I'll do, I will create, right click and create a new file. Let's make style.css. I have just made a normal file. Okay. In the style.css, what I'm doing, just to check out if the things are working, inside the body, I'm making the background color some color. This is already white, so let me make it to something for now. Later we'll change it. Or if it looks too bad, then of course. Awesome. Let's have a look. No change, right? Obviously, because whenever you make the things, even in HTML, CSS, just making a CSS file does not work, right? You have to link it, right? So how to link it here? Go to index.js. Okay, just import it. How to import it? To import a CSS file, it's quite simple. Import bracket. I'm going to say quotes. Now this file, let me know if you know this rule. Okay, in case if there's a problem, I'll tell you. So currently, I'm inside a source file. Okay, so basically you are accessing it from index.js, right? Okay, so now here, if you write dot slash, so that you are writing dot slash in index.js. So index.js is present in the source folder, right? Okay, so dot slash will access all the things that is basically present in the source folder. So dot slash, and here you'll be writing, okay, style.css. Sorry. Right? Awesome. In simple words. Now, similarly, let's suppose just a case. Okay, you have to access this index.html. As of now, you don't have to access it, but let's suppose you have to access it here. How will you access it? The idea is very simple. Again, import. Okay. Now see. Now dot slash will only help you to access the things that is present in the same folder in which index.js is present. So index.js is present in source folder. So you will only be able to access this. Okay. So to access this index.html, first you have to get outside this folder, right? How to get outside this folder? Instead of one dot, press two dot. Two dot and then slash. So two dot will get you out of this particular folder. Now source. Source is inside which folder? Hello. So everything inside hello folder is now accessible. So it will go just one folder above the source folder. Above one folder, we just have the hello. Above source folder means source folder is inside the hello folder, right? Okay, so everything inside the hello, you can access it. So dot slash now, you want to access the public, no? Slash public. Okay, slash index.html. Okay. I hope this part is clear to all of you, right? So now let's enable it. And now let's read. There's some error. Okay. Let's have a look what is there. Styles.css does not exist, right? So name is style, I think. Style, I have put styles. No, this is. So don't get panic when you get error. Just read the error and you'll understand in simple words. Okay, let it reload. Because it's little slow at compile. It's usually fast, but sometimes it can be annoyingly slow. Okay, and that's a noise. Yeah, thank you, Neeraj. So technically our CSS is working, right? Awesome. So now two small differences that I want to show you between HTML and JSX. Okay, the first one is like, let's suppose I have a class name. So for the button, I'm creating a class name button. Okay. And in this button, what I'm doing, I'm giving them a padding of, let's suppose, 10 pixels, and then giving them a margin, right? So that buttons can have some space between them, let's suppose 5 pixels. Okay, so I'm not talking about CSS in this project. I hope you know that. Until it's quite complicated. So now I have created a class. No? This is a class, right? So I have to use this class somewhere. So how will you use it? So you will say, let's use it here. Like, okay, since I told you this is like a tag, so you can basically use it like this, right? You can take it. Okay, sorry. I mean to say, since this button looks like this button is like HTML, so we can use something like this, right? So let's suppose I write it button. This should work, right? So let me write this all the places first. Okay, so you will see the changes that we did actually happened, right? The padding is applied, but we got an error. Even though on the screen you're not getting any error, but in the console you're getting error. We should solve it because otherwise it will conflict with some other things. So the error is basically invalid DOM property class. Did you mean class name? And it has also given you the location of error. Error has occurred at the button place, which is inside div, which is inside hello. Okay, and in simple, so you can basically understand. Okay. So inside hello, we have this error. So the error is basically, JavaScript already has a class as a keyword, right? So we don't use class here. Instead of that, JSX has modified it to class name. That's a one change, right? So instead of class, make a habit of using class name. Perfect. Killer gamer. Correct. Awesome. This is one. Now the next thing is what? Okay. The hello world text, let it appear. I want to place this hello world text in the center of the screen at this particular place. They will say it's a piece of cake, text align center. I'll say, but let's use an inline style to H1. So you'll say, what is the problem using inline style? So there is a different way to use inline style with JSX. And what is that? Very simple. Just write style here. Style is equals to, remember, double curly braces. Double curly braces. Okay, not single, double. Okay, remember it. Now, what do you want? Like, let's suppose you want text align. No? So how do we normally write text align? This is the way we generally write, right? Here you are not allowed to write like this. If ever there is a two word, okay, so make sure you join both the words and remove the dash or space between them and put the second word first letter as capital. Okay, text align. And what do you want to put? You want to make it center. No? Okay, text align center. Let it compile. So now it's in center, right? So are these two syntax very much clear to all of you? Yes, no? Yeah, okay. See, so see, basically what I did. So to write inline style here, okay? So what you basically do, we follow this syntax, write the style keyword, followed by equals to, and instead of one curly braces, put two curly braces. As simple as that, okay? And then here, text. Now normally we write like this, text align, no? But what JSX had changed a little, no dash or space in between. So if there is two words, combine both the words. And the second word, first letter will be of capital. Okay. And then put a dash, matlab colon, and center. Center is a value, so you'll put it inside the quotes. So in case if you know JavaScript or any language, you can think it like an object. So this is an object, right? That is the main reason. So in a JavaScript object, you can since you cannot put a dash or a space in between, it will avoid a naming convention, right? That is why it has been changed like this. Basically, we are writing JavaScript here, right? Okay. Hope this is okay to all of you guys. Okay. Today I'll pause it here, guys. Okay. For some other things. Okay. We'll have a little bigger class tomorrow. Okay, so make sure and you guys continue at this point, and I'll give you a small assignment to all of you guys. Okay, so at this point, giving assignment is difficult, but okay, let's pause the assignment. Assignment will start it for the next sessions. Okay, awesome. So give me a second. Okay, guys. So, dear YouTubers, I'll catch you up tomorrow in the next sessions. Okay. With the next push. Bye bye.